Hello children, welcome to 10th class English. Today we are going to learn the C reading. The topic of the C reading is I will do it. What is that I will do it? Who is that person who is determining to do something? Children, do you have that aspiration that I will do it? In the previous class we have discussed that your desire should be like burning desire in your heart. Each and every second it should burn in your heart. So here there is a great personality from his childhood. The desire to do something was like a burning desire in his heart. So always used to think that I will do it. Today he has done and proved to the world that he can do anything. Before we go to the lesson, let's see about the author. Who is the author of this C reading I will do it? About the author, Sudha Murthy, the wife of N.R. Narayana Murthy, is an Indian social worker and author. Murthy began her professional career as a computer scientist and engineer. She is the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation. She has founded several orphanages, participated in rural development efforts, supported the movement to provide all Karnataka government schools with computer and library facilities, and established the Murthy Classical Library of India at Harvard University. Murthy also teaches computer science and composed fiction. Dollar Sosi, the present story, is a selection from one of her most successful stories, How I Taught My Grandmother to Read and Other Stories. So, she is also a great personality but leads a very simple life, wife of N.R. Narayan Murthy. So, what is that I will do it? Who is that person? About we will look into this lesson. Please go to the lesson. I will do it, children. See, he was short. He was sharp. He was the brightest boy in the class. His seniors used to ask him to solve their difficulties in science. He could have gone unnoticed in a crowd, but once you asked him a question related to physics or maths, there was a spark in his eyes. He could grasp theories of science faster than the speed of light. So this boy was a very short boy and a sharp boy, and he was the brightest boy in the class. So who used to ask questions to him, children? Even the seniors used to come and ask him the questions related what subject? Science. So that boy was unnoticed when he is into the crowd, but whenever a question comes related physics, the answer should come immediately. A spark will be there in his eyes. Spark means like a lightning will be there in his eyes relating to maths and physics. If any questions he listens, he used to give the answer faster than a speed of light. See, that is a zeal and enthusiasm when you learn some subject. Coming to his family background, he came from a poor but educated family. His father was a high school teacher and an avid reader of English literature. Avid reader, what is the meaning of avid? A new vocabulary here. Avid means enthusiastic or keen or very eager to learn something. Yeah. So he, like all the boys in his class, was trying to get admission into some engineering college. The brighter ones wanted to study in the Indian Institutes of Technology or the IITs. So there was an entrance test for IITs. This boy, along with his friend, applied to appear for the test. They did not have any special books or coaching. All these IIT aspirants would sit below the shade of a stone mandap close to Chennai Mudi Hills in a sleepy town of Mysore. He was the guide for the others. While others struggled to solve the problems in the question paper, he would smile shyly and solve them in no time. He sat alone below a tree and dreamt of studying at IIT. It was the ultimate aim for any bright boy at that age, as it still is today. He was then only 16 years old. So like other children, as soon as you finish your 10th class and enter, you will have some aspirations to go either to science field or to the engineering field. So this boy wanted to become what? He wanted to become an engineer student, that is IIT student. So all the brighter ones, they used to sit. Today you have all the coaching centers, different coaching centers, but at that time there were no coaching centers. They used to study by their own. So all these IIT aspirants, where they used to sit, they used to sit in a shade, in a stone mandap near Chanmudai's hills, and it is in Mysore. These all used to struggle, all his friends used to struggle a lot to solve the question, but this boy in fraction of seconds used to solve, and everyone used to go to him to ask the solutions for the problem. So he was very smiley and shy boy. He used to solve the problems within no time. So like other students, this boy also was dreaming to go for IIT. What was his age at that time? He was only 16 years old at that time. So the D-Day came, means the day came. He came to Bangalore, stayed with some relatives and appeared for the entrance test. He did very well, but would only say okay when asked. It was the opposite when it came to food. When he said okay, it implied bad. When he said good, it implied okay. And when he said excellent, it implied good. His principle was never to hurt anyone. Do you have this principle in your life, children? Never hurt anyone. This boy used to never hurt anyone. See, the day came. Now the entrance test date was declared and he has to appear that exam. Used to go to Bangalore and he has to write an exam. So whenever he writes an exam, the people used to ask him, how did you write the exam? He used to say okay. When he has written excellently, used to just say simply. But what you do, children, when you write an exam, even though you don't write anything, when your parents ask you the question, how did you write the exam? You say excellent, I have written very well, excellent, but nothing will be there in the paper. When you compare this boy, he is saying even though he has performed excellently his paper, when someone asked him, how did you write your exam, he used to simply say it was okay. So when it is opposite, that answer is opposite when it is to food. When he said okay, means what it is? It means the food is very bad. And when he says it is good, then it is okay, the food is little bit okay. When he says it is excellent, then it means that the food is good. So his principle is what, children? Never hurt anyone's feeling. The IIT entrance results came. He had passed with a high rank. What a delight for any student. He was thrilled. He went to his father, who was reading a newspaper. So the results came and he topped in that. Now every student, he was thrilled and happily went to his father to say that news. Anna, I have passed the exam. Well done, my boy. I want to join IIT. His father stopped reading the paper. He lifted his head, looked at the boy and said with a heavy voice, my son, you are a bright boy. You know our financial position. I have 5 daughters to be married off and 3 sons to educate. I am a salarized person. I cannot afford your expenses at IIT. You can stay in Mysore and study as much as you want. See the financial situation of the boy. He is a brilliant, excellent IQ student. He wants to become an IIT aspirant, but see the financial conditions. Even though he was willing, the father was objecting. Why? Because how many children the father has? 5 daughters and 3 sons he has. 8 members total. And his father is the only earning person, a salarized person who has to take care of entire family. So he objected that he can't afford the child to go for IIT. Then what did the boy do? Indeed, it was a difficult situation for any father to say no to his bright son, but circumstances were like that. It was common then for a man to be a single earning member with a large family dependent on him. So his father was sad that he had to tell the bitter truth to his son, but it could not be helped. The boy had to understand reality. Even though it is bitter, the father said the reality so that the child will understand the circumstances. The teenager was disappointed. Like every boy, every child, if you are into the top list and your aim and ambition is not fulfilled, you will be disappointed. The same, this teenager was also disappointed. It seemed his dreams had burned to ashes. He was so near to fulfilling his fondest hope, yet so far. His heart sunk in sorrow. So he came very near to his hope, but still everything was sunk into sorrow. He was very upset. Why? Because whatever dreams were there, it was into ashes, burnt into ashes. So he did not reply. He never shared his unhappiness or helplessness with anybody. He was an introvert by nature. What is the meaning of introvert, children? The person who will not share anything with anyone is called as introvert. They keep everything inside, like reserved. You can say it as reserved. They will not share any happiness or sadness with anyone. So his heart was bleeding, but he did not get angry with anybody. Even though he was upset, he did not share anything with anyone. The day came when his classmates were leaving to Madras, that is now Chennai. They were taking a train from Mysore to Madras. They have shared good years in school and college together. He went to the station to say goodbye and good luck to them for their future life. So all his friends, those who have qualified in the entrance test, now they are moving to fulfill their aspiration to join into IIT. Now this boy went to give send off to his friends. At the station, his friends were already there. They were excited and talking loudly. The noise was like a chirping of birds. Chirping of means high pitched sound was coming. They were all excited and discussing their new hostels, new courses, etc. He was no part of it, so he stood there silently. One of them noticed and said, "You should have made it." So this boy, he just went to send off and he was feeling very sorrow and upset. Why? Because all his friends are moving and his aim was to go and join into IIT, but he could not fulfill that because of his financial condition. So one of his friends said, "You would have made it." Did he reply? No, he did not reply. He only wished all of them. They waved at him as the train slowly left the platform. He stood there even after he could no longer see the train or the waving hands. It was the June of 1962 in Mysore city. Monsoon had set in and it was getting dark. It had started to drizzle. Drizzle means a very light rain was coming. Yet he stood there motionless. The train passed away, the friends passed away. It was the date, June month in 1962. Monsoon was set up and it was getting very dark. Even the train moved away. Drizzling was happening, a light rain was coming. He stood there motionless. Why? Because whatever dreams were there, they were burnt into ashes. So he said to himself, without anger or jealousy, all students from the IIT studies well and do big things in life, but it is not the institution. Ultimately, it is you and you alone. You can change your life by hard work. This sentence please underline, children, because it's very important in everyone's life. So what he determined, he did not get angry, he did not get any jealous on his friends. So all the students from IIT, they study well, you do good and become achieve the great things in your life. He appreciated and said to his friends. But he says, it's not ultimate the institution. What is that? It is you, ultimately you. You may be into the St. Mary's High School, but it is you need to rock in your life, in your studies. So institution is just a thing which will push you. Who has to do the hard work? It is you. Finally, you alone. You can change your life. By what you can change your life? Only by hard work. So probably he was not aware that he was following the philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. The one thing he used to follow from Bhagavad Gita. What is that important sentence? Please underline this sentence also. Your best friend is yourself and your worst enemy is yourself. So everything is yourself. You are the best friend to yourself and you are the worst enemy to yourself. So later he worked very hard and focused on one thing, never bothering about his personal life or comforts. He shared his wealth with others. He never used to help of any caste, community or political connections to go up in life. So whatever was there, he was satisfied. So children, whatever is there with you, you need to satisfied with that. So this man worked very hard. He focused on only one thing. He never used to bother about his personal life or comforts. Today, even though he earned a number of wealth, is established a company, even then this wife and husband leads a very simple life. We have to learn a lot of things with both wife and husband. So who is that man? We will see. He shared his wealth, whatever is his income, he used to share with the others, and he never used to see any caste or community or political influence. He hates these all connections. A son of a school teacher showed other Indians it was possible to earn wealth legally and ethically. He built a team of people who were equally good. So, this man has proved that you can earn wealth legally and ethically. Ethically means the principles of right and wrong. This is right, this is wrong, yes. Ethically he has earned, and he built equal number of people with him. A team was there with him. He became a pioneer of India's software industry and started the information technology wave. This person established Infosys. Is a pioneer means someone who helps to open a new line of research of technology and art. So, this person has opened a research of technology and art. Today, he has become an icon of simplicity, uncompromising quality and fairness. Apart from being a philanthropist, he really believes in a motto powered by intellectuals and driven by values. So, who you know children, who is this person? Is none other than Nagavara Ramarao Narayana Murthy, the founder of Infosys, the leading IT company in the world. So, this is written by his wife Sudha Murthy. So, who is that person you know now? Narayana Murthy and Sudha Murthy. These both are very successful persons, but they lead very simple life, very simple. Even though they have more wealth, they never show their wealth to others. Very simple, like ordinary people, they lead their life. This is the thing what we have to learn, means that determination, discipline and dedication should be there along with the hard work. These 3 plus H, 3 D's and plus 1 H will prove you that I will do it. Like how Narayana Murthy has proved himself that he can do anything, and he has proved that I will do it. So, children, you also determine that you can do anything. If you determine that I will do it, definitely you can do it. So, before I wind up, let us go to the backside grammar. Here you have in the vocabulary one word substitutes are there. Once you have a look on that children, one word substitute. What is one word substitute? Means a word which has a lengthy meaning. In one word you can say that. A lengthy sentence you can say it in one word. For example, you have here philanthropist. What is the meaning of philanthropist? The one who devotes their life to service and wealth for love of mankind are called as philanthropist. Like that, you have some more important words, one word substitutes in this lesson, where you can see here in the next page. That is fatalist. What is the meaning of fatalist? A person who believes in fate is called as fatalist. A second, centenarian means a person who is above 100 years. Omnipresent, one who is present everywhere is called as omnipresent. Mercenary, a person who can do anything for money. Misogynist, one who hates women is called as misogynist. Monogamy, a practice of having one wife and husband is called as monogamy. Autobiography, a life history written by oneself. Biography, a life history written by somebody else is called as biography. Honorary, a position for which no salary is paid. Ambiguous, a sentence whose meaning is unclear. Down you have certain words in this match the following. You have to pick which one is the correct one. Let's see. A person or thing that cannot be corrected is called as what? D is the correct answer, children. Incorrigible. A person of good understanding, knowledge and reasoning power. Who is he called as? Is called as intellectual. B is the correct answer. A person who knows many languages. What is it called as? Polyglot. Polyglot. One who possesses many talents. Versatile. The words inscribed on the tomb. Epitaph. D is the correct answer. Come back to the B reading, children. Come back to the A reading. In the A reading, let's go to the grammar part. Here in the grammar part, you have defining and non-defining relative clause. What is a clause? Clause means a sentence which you get complete information will be there in that sentence. So in this total unit you have many defining and non-defining clauses. How to identify? How you can identify? Relative clause means in a sentence, in the middle of the sentence, all the WH, it is like when, where, who, all which starts with WH and that, this will be into the middle of the sentence and it ends with a full stop. So what is the difference between a defining and non-defining clause? Here he has given two examples. The woman who taught him surfing had been bitten by a shark. The woman who taught him, it's underlined, who taught him surfing. Who, WH, I said the WH will be in the middle of the sentence and it ends with a full stop. Where here it is giving, what is the difference? Let us see. The second sentence is Nick, comma, who was teased and bullied, had an electric wheelchair for mobility. So here in what is the difference between sentence 1 and 2, children? In the one sentence the relative clause defines the woman. Here in the first sentence the woman who taught him surfing means here it is saying about the woman in the first sentence. In the second sentence Nick who was teased and bullied. In the second sentence it is giving the extra information about the Nick. So how can you differentiate between the defining and non-defining clause? Defining clause will be, no commas will be there in a defining clause, it ends with a full stop. The sentence WH starts in a between the sentence and ends with a full stop, whereas non-defining clause you can easily identify, it will have a comma in between the sentence, you will find a comma and WH will be, sentence will be continued, that is called as a non-defining clause. So in this lesson you have many non-defining clause and defining clause. So what you have to do is homework, you have to go through whole unit from A reading, B reading and C reading. Now you identify the defining and non-defining clause. Is it clear, children? One more time and I'll explain. Defining clause means what? The sentence where you can see the first example, the woman who taught him surfing had been bitten by a shark. The woman who, the sentence WH will start in the middle of the sentence and ends with a full stop, is called as a defining relative clause. Then in a sentence where a comma is there and it starts with a WH, where extra information is given, is called non-defining clause. Is it clear, children? Now what is your work is, you need to identify what are the defining and non-defining relative clause and right here the place is given here, you have to fill that columns what are the defining and non-defining clause. Then coming to the vocabulary of the first unit, here adjectives are there. This is a homework for you, all the adjectives are there, you go through all the adjectives, positive, negative, optimistic, pessimistic, these all adjectives are there. Now in this, which qualities Nick has, you have to tick there, which are the qualities that Nick have. Then come to the next page. Here in the page number 9 you have words like attribute is there and that example you have to take from the text. From these what you have written here adjectives, these adjectives you have to write here again any 10. Then this where do you feel that this word is coming, means from the text where do you think, suppose you are taking independent, how can you say from the sentence it is independent? Then you have to write that Nick obtained degree in finance, means independently he has achieved his degree. Then next you have to go to the fill-ups, this also you go open your dictionary, underline word you check and tick the correct meaning in that. The next also you have a different words, go through the different word meaning and write the suitable one into the, you have to fill the blanks with the suitable words. Okay children, before I wind up, let's go to the assignment. By this the unit 1 ends, children. Hope you have enjoyed the class. So have your assignment, children. Write a conversation between you and your father, convincing your father to permit you to join into IIT. You have to write a conversation between you. Imagine that you want to go and join into IIT. Now you want to request and convince your father. How will be the conversation between you and your father? You have to write. Then second question is, prepare an essay on poverty is not an hindrance for education, means poverty is not an obstacle for education. Okay children, thank you for watching this class. Have a great day.